are go for liftoff in T-minus 30. Hit the record button. Gosh, that's swell.
It's a Rose Blog Talk Radio.
I was going to say social media.
Social media, we wearing us out. Hello.
Yeah. So my guest is already here, all the way from Georgia by way of Chicago, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes.
And I'm wearing my Chicago t-shirt, guys, in case you were wondering why, because she's from Chicago, but you're in Georgia now, and I'm in LA. We met in LA. Anyways, I think we already covered this in the previous podcast.
Yes.
So I don't want to take too long doing that. But for those that are tuning in for the first time, and if you're watching us on YouTube or whatever, I want to tell you about Shanara. I'm sorry, is that Shanara? Shanara. So, and they call her the mouthpiece. It says here, it all started back in her hometown of Chicago, mainly because of her prominence in the spoken word scene. You can also add voiceovers, former radio show host, and several grand awards for her prowess. I'm saying it right? Prowess with the pen and performance. Born Shanara, she embraced being the short girl with a big mouth and garnered classic theater roles in Chicago all the way to the Los Angeles Theater Center stage in Disney's Aladdin, which I loved. I love that show. Dual language edition. She's also the creator of her podcast and YouTube series, Ask a Black Woman, which she turned into Ask a Black Woman one-woman show, which I didn't get to see, but we'll talk about that some other time, which premiered in the Hollywood Fringe Festival. She won Encore Producer Awards and Better Lemon Audience Choice Award as the writer, producer, and solo performer of the show. I'm almost done, guys. In addition to her most recent performance in the virtual Intersection Festival and her own virtual Poetic Popcorn Set, she's a recurring instructor of her virtual spoken word class, a word with the mouthpiece, through Casa 0101 Theater. Shanara The MouthPeace is committed to serving people by extracting their power. Am I saying that right? Yeah, extracting their power with the gift of the word in all its facets. Said, without further ado, I'll give you Shanara The MouthPeace Sanders. Is it Sanders?
Yes.
Oh my God. Okay. Go ahead.
So, but just let me know what you want to talk about. I'm here for your audience.
So basically, I was talking about your poetry popcorn set, which I was lucky to be in. I was looking at it on Instagram, and I caught it by mistake one day. So I stayed there to watch. I think you've had so far 2, right?
Here. Mm-hmm.
And your next one is going to be when? Is the next
This
one?
coming Saturday, the 19th. So next Saturday.
Next Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
So we still have a week from tomorrow, correct?
It's a week from today. Today is the 12th.
Oh, today is Saturday. Jeez.
Mm-hmm.
See where I've been? I've been in social media way too long, and I already forgot what day we were. So I apologize, guys. So yeah, tell us, how was that experience so far, and where do you expect to be going with the popcorn set, poetic popcorn set?
So let me just rewind you back to, I started the popcorn business, Mama D's 5 Popcorn. I started the popcorn business January 2020. For the first 3 months of the year, I was able to be in-person events, a lot of really dope cafe owners in South Central actually were gracious enough to allow me to set up a vending table for free at their open mics. I would get up, spit the open mic, get back to my table and sell out of some popcorn. And they didn't ask for a cut. They just wanted this sister to get us stuff off of the ground. So I thought that was really great. Then, of course, we were officially, in a whole pandemic. Everybody was indoors. So I'm like, I really want to get this popcorn business, but nobody's meeting in person. What am I going to do? So I spent the next, let's see, March, April, May, selling, promoting it online and within my building that I was living in, and putting little flyers on the people's doors about the popcorn. And you couldn't even really, the parking was so terrible in Koreatown where I was living. People would literally park in the red zone outside the building, and I would run outside to give them the popcorn. Like, they really liked this. So I had something hot on my hands. So popcorn, the gourmet popcorn thing, is really just another facet of me as an artist. I am creating. Oh, I think that flavor would work well, blah, blah, blah. So it's the way I serve people. So that's what it was. But before I'm creating as a food artist, I'm a poet first, always have been, always will be. And so I had this idea around May of 2020. I said, oh, what if I brung the two together? I was like, oh, it would be such a dope idea if we wasn't in a pandemic and we could be in person. I would have a whole show. I would be selling my popcorn, blah, blah, blah. I said, wait, well, why can't I do it now? Why can't I just do it online? So I started Popcorn and Poetry in 2020. I think I did 3 or 4 of them. I did and I had all of my peeps from the theater scene, from the spoken word. They would come in. I was teaching my class, A Word with the Mouthpiece, through Casa 0101 Theater in East Los Angeles. And so I had students who would get on and perform live as well. So it was a sense of community. I loved it. So it was a way to still connect in some kind of way while everybody was still figuring out this situation that was new to us. But it was me making the popcorn as well. And so that's where Popcorn and Poetry was birthed. And then in 2021, I started, end of 2020, like around the holidays. Then I finally braved it to get on the plane for the first time since the pandemic started. And I started going back and forth to Georgia. And then I've since temporarily relocated to Georgia, and we'll see how long I'll be here. But I like it. I like the South for me right now. It's good for my mental health. It was a lot going on for me mentally in the heart of Koreatown. And it just works for me to be away from that element without going too deep into that part of it. And so now that I've got a little breathing room, and I said, well, why don't I just bring it back? Why not? Yeah. And I made a couple of posts and some Georgia Facebook groups. And then I got some people in my inbox. Ooh, Brother Hermanville, he's a brand new spoken word poet to the scene in general, but Fayetteville as well. And so he was very excited to be my first guest. And then I actually met the girl I had last week, Storm, at an event in Fayetteville. And that's how I met her. And she's real genuine people. So, that's how it's going for now. I can commit myself to first and third Saturdays. I don't know how long I would want to keep it online. But the end goal would be to eventually make it in person. I think it would be a dope idea to bring in person. So we'll just see, what time will tell.
It would be nice to have it in person, obviously. With the whole pandemic, everybody knows it, so I'm not going to tell the story again, but I probably will. And it was disheartening to see some theaters were closing. And of course, I was just getting started with the theater, as probably you were as well. I don't know if you, well, you probably already had more experience, but I'm saying your solo show, if I'm not mistaken, was your first solo show.
Yes.
Right. So I'm sure you had more coming up in your, in your repertoire. And so it was disheartening. And by now though, it's been already 2 years, and you have a great idea. You already are making it into reality. And so you're manifesting everything that's happening right now. And the popcorn, I haven't tried your popcorn, but I have tried your popcorn, poetic popcorn. Pause for a second. Poetic Popcorn Set. I've enjoyed that.
Thank
And it's nice to see. It's nice to see the comments and everything. It's still not the same experience as being in an open mic, obviously, but sometimes we need live performances, and that's what you're offering. Even with the little technical difficulties that were going on, we understand. You know what I mean? Like like I was saying, I'm like, ooh, I could help her with this, and I'm like, understand it's live, and it's not like right now. We had an issue before we got started. I'm like, see, Victor, it's gonna happen. Whether you have everything planned and everything, it's not gonna happen the way you plan it to. So, anyways, I just wanted to say that I really like that you're doing that, even if it's a virtual reality kind of thing. But still, you're bringing people together and watch performances. Is it only poetry though, or do you have music, or do you have any?
So I wanted to be primarily a spoken word because that is my main bread and butter. However, I do sing. I do know that on so many other open mics, and those I've hosted in the past, it's become more like a variety show. So we have had vocalists, musicians, etc. But I want to be clear that spoken word specifically has a home, because that's just important to me, and I see that as an opportunity and a niche. Still, like, people will say, "Oh, there's open mics everywhere." It's not. For example, here in Fayetteville, Georgia, there are no open mics. If you want to go to an open mic, the first thing, ATL, but I'm not in ATL. So ATL is 22 miles from here. So I feel like, why, if I was wanting to go to if somebody in Fayetteville wanted to go to an open mic set, why do they have to drive 22 miles to get to one?
Yeah, right.
If I'm here, I throw one heck of a set. And until there's an in-person event, I'm going to create the momentum for that.
Yeah.
So if somebody wants to so I did have an opportunity with this really dope establishment called Palettes here in Fayetteville. And at first, she didn't want to do it in person because she wanted to be cautious for the 19. And then I brought it to her again, and she was open at the end of the year. And then at the top of the year, I decided against it. So she was not with it, and then she was with it, and then I wasn't with it. And then I said, okay, this is where I am. And so right now, this is what it is for me. But to go back to your original question, yes, I am considering having a vocalist to be perform for it. But I did want to set the foundation based off of poetry, though.
Awesome.
Because I even do it. I didn't do it a lot. I don't think I did it a lot for the last set. But sometimes I will do something called a free flow, and I'll play random, hip hop, soul instrumentals, and I'll freestyle a song off the top of my head. So it doesn't always come out like a poem, because I am a songwriter. It doesn't always do that. So, and that's something that I would be doing with a live band. If we were in person, I'm used to being in open mic environments where the band, they're such professionals. The first couple of little lines out my mouth, and if I have anything like a melody, they can pick it up so quickly, start playing something, and then there's a groove going. And then I come in and I'm coming off the dome, and that synergy with the live bands at an open mic.
Yeah, sounds dope. Yeah, music and poetry. I mean, I didn't know this until I started doing poetry. That is all poetry, anyways. Music is poetry, as much as spoken word is poetry, as much as hip hop is poetry.
They're cousins, they're relatives, they're all intertwined, but they have their own distinct things.
Yeah.
So, like, but spoken word is not music. It really isn't. There is a art form of itself that deserves its own recognition, its own home, etc. But they are all cousins, though. They all rap, hip hop. It all is so like, yeah, but yet you're an individual. You're an individual, but hey, we got so much in common. Well, let's get together and collaborate. So it's there. Absolutely.
Exactly. So for those that are, again, I'm going to post everything below. So if you guys miss anything I'm saying, I'm reading off your website. So I'm going to post the website. So if you guys are either on YouTube or Spotify, which is now Spotify, but I'm still going to be in Spotify. Although I should turn it off too, but I'll I'm not supporting Joe Rogan is what I'm trying to say, because of what just came out recently. But this is going to be in social media, Spotify, Anchor, and other platforms like that. So just go below, click on the website. This is going to be on Instagram, so it's free, correct?
Yes. So it's Instagram Live every first and third Saturday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. We just go for an hour, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. So it is on my Instagram Live, my personal Instagram Live, which is at The MouthPeace. It's all one word, PEACE, The MouthPeace.
Correct.
And it's called Poetry and Popcorn.
Now, so for those that are interested in, okay, I know you have featured artists, but do you also take requests for people that want to, I haven't stayed long enough to see if anybody else wanted to?
Yes, please DM me and let me know you want to go on the day of. Okay. And I can honor those requests in the order that I receive it. I'm supposed to have a girl featuring, she hasn't, because when you agree to feature with me, I have a whole standard template that says, hey, these are the rules of engagement. Give me your picture that you prefer. Because a lot of times people will just go to the internet and grab whatever photo or whatever. But sometimes people are particular about their brand and their image. So I'll say, hey, give me the photo that you prefer that I'll use for the promo. If you have any special projects that you want me to promote on your behalf, maybe you already have books that are out, an album that's out, whatever it is, I can say, yeah, she's a published author, or she's got a book coming out, or she's got an album, whatever it is, so I can, pump you up for doing this. So of course it's free. It's Instagram Live, so of course you can attend for free. But if you want to support these professional artists, if you RSVP through our Eventbrite, if you type in Poetry and Popcorn on Eventbrite and see my flyer pop up, you can donate to the artist. So every dime you give me, I'm gonna give it to the feature that day. Okay. So she hasn't provided those things. I'm like, it's a week before, bless her heart. And so, but when regardless of people showing up or not, the show will go on. So I'll be on there doing some poetry. And so if people want to spit, even though they're not they just want to do it because artists gonna art. I always say that. It keeps our tools sharp, ready for opportunity. So if you want to tune in and share some pieces because the flow is open, by all means, I'm encouraging people to come on through.
Now, so you were saying something about certain qualifications, right? And what I meant, what I think I'm trying to say it in another way, but I already know what your answer is. But what kind of material do you prefer them to share in your poetry set?
Yes. So if you look at the flyer that I posted, you'll see that I said it's a clean, curated set. Now that's based off of me. Now, to make it easier for people to have any kind of gander of my belief system, I'm washed by the blood of Jesus, okay? And so my beliefs are heavily Christian. And so although I can't, quote unquote, push my belief system on anybody else, anything that I produce, I'm responsible for the content that I push out on my personal platform. And so there's two main rules that will have your set cut short on my platform. If you use any profanity and if you have any overly sexual content. I believe specifically, even if that is your thing, I think that if you are a really, really good wordsmith, you don't need to use no profanity. And that's my personal testimony. Real quick, I'll tell this. I remember a couple decades ago when I wasn't very strong in my faith. I was kind of in and out of the faith. And at that time, I was still a really big fan of Lil' Kim and all those really hardcore girl rappers of that era. But I started to have a conviction about where I was growing in my faith, and it wasn't lining up with those women in the rap industry that I idolized. And so in my mind, I always felt like I could never be as successful or even be a dope lyricist unless, as a woman, I cussed in my lyrics, or I was very sexually overt in it. And I just was like, I felt like I wasn't going to win. And I remember going to a concert for Ludacris. He used to have a group called Disturbing the Peace, or DTP. And that's when all the rap groups would have one female in the group. Mm-hmm. And the female, she would basically be like the male version of a rapper, like female version of the male. She would be just as rough as the guys to prove that she could roll with them. And so I remember the girl that was in DTP, her name was Shauna. And I went to the concert and I was like, there's no way that I could be a dope lyricist unless I came across like Shauna did. And I lamented to my homies about it. Because lyrically she was dope, but I felt like she was rough. Like you still had to keep that whole nastiness about you. But my girls set me straight because they knew where I was with my walk. And they said, Shay, you don't have to do that. Who told you had to do that? Like, you don't have to do that. And I remember they were just making it so plain. And I wrestled with it. And I had a prayer. And I said, Father, you gave me this gift. And please help me to cultivate it and work with it in a way that pleases you. And you know that I wrestle with whether or not I can be a dope lyricist. I don't want to be corny and a corny Christian rapper. No. I want to be dope, but still represent the kingdom. That was my prayer. And he came through because this is his gift and he don't want me to make a mockery of what he gave. And so I don't have to, and I don't. I humbly brag and say, I think I'm a pretty doggone good writer. I think I'm a pretty doggone good performer, a pretty doggone good wordsmith, because he fuels me. And so there's plenty of other platforms for people to do all those other things. But I feel like here it's got to be a clean, curated set. And I think we could still have a good old time keeping it like that. So those are my 2 rules of engagement for anybody who wants to come on this set.
Awesome.
That's my whole walk with the whole situation.
Yeah, I love it. I love the way you explain it. I couldn't put it any better. So
Thank
I'm glad
you.
you did. But listen, we have actually to do a part 2 because I have to do that. So if you want to stay a little longer, and stay tuned, guys, for part 2. I would love to hear some of your poetry, if we can. And anyways, would you be able to stay a little longer?
I can do. I got time to do a piece for you. I could do a little snippet.
Okay. Let's do it. Let's do it in the next part.
Okay.
Because I only have a couple minutes here.
I see it's giving me I see the time left is 7 minutes or something.
So can you do it? Can you do it in 7 minutes? Or
I can do it under that. I'm gonna give you a snippet. I'm not gonna be 5 minutes long. I ain't gonna do that to y'all. I thought you were gonna cut it right here. Okay, let's see which one I should do. This is from, I'm gonna do a little teaser. This is one of my #1 hits, if you will, Jazz and Him, from my album Discipline and Diligence. It released 10 years ago. I'm doing a re-release of it this year. I can't wait because I'm gonna do some remakes on it. Okay, anyway. So Jazz and Him. I love the jazz and him. Give me some jazz and him. I love the jazz and him. Paint my picture red, but I feel blue and green. Offerings of love, one of my favorite things. So what if it's summertime, autumn leaves of spring? I'm in a sentimental mood in the presence of my king. His origin is black, like the genres that I sing. Texture is so rich, I'm never wanting anything. His texture is so rich, I'm never wanting anything. Just the jazz and him, just a moment to embrace. We go the extra mile. My man's a masterpiece, so any distance is worthwhile. I take giant steps to put me on a plane, fly me to New York, run in to catch an A train, or ride me back to Chi where a train could run blue. He's jazz and poetry, so instrumental to my groove. The jazz, and him, yeah. I love the jazz and him. Give me some jazz and him. I love the jazz and him. Just listen to that.
Whoa, Bart. Snap. What do you prefer? Snap, clap?
Whatever comes naturally. It's all love.
Some people are like particular about that.
Oh.
Right? Hey, clap, scream, holler, whatever you want to do.
They want to be like, oh, only in the open mic. Just snap it up. Listen, in church, we don't care. If you feeling us, you give a clap.
Right.
What comes naturally. Sure.
Right. So we still want to do a part 2, guys. So stay tuned. I need to talk to you about a couple things. So we'll be right back, guys. Don't go away. All right, great. Part two, guys. Chicago in the house. Not really, but
Chicago is in the building. That's my hometown. And if anybody is from the go, y'all already know what's behind me. Y'all know that them corners right there. That's downtown Chicago right there. That's the Paul right there. That's the alma mater right there. Jackson and State. If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. I was in Chicago actually, but I don't know where that is exactly. But yeah, I would love to go back. Chicago's so nice in the summer.
Yes, it is. Hashtag summertime shy all day.
Yeah, love it. So for those that are listening, once again, I'm with Shanara The MouthPeace with Peace Sanders. And we're talking about your poetry, can you say it?
The Poetry and Popcorn, a virtual kickback.
There you go. You said it better than I can. And so, but for those people that are wondering, why is it called popcorn? Where can I get the popcorn? Can you tell us how to get the popcorn?
Sure. So basically, just in a nutshell, maybe people are just tuning in at this part of the segment. Poetry and popcorn is something that two things that I do very well. And it's something that's actually pretty huge in my hometown. So most times there's a lot of popcorn vendors in stores out there right now, but most people are very familiar with garrets. And so it used to be a big deal to get some garrets if you went into this downtown Chicago when you were a shorty. And so now you don't have to just have garrets, baby. You can have you some Mama D's Fried Popcorn. Mama D's Fried Popcorn is everybody's gourmet, but not everybody's couture. Hello, exclusive. So it's plant-based only flavors that I've handcrafted myself. So popcorn is another extension of my creativity. It's just in the kitchen. And so I'm actually licensed to selling in LA and Georgia, but I'm here in Georgia for now. So if you are in Georgia, I can ship it to you. If you want to deliver, I can deliver it to you. Hello. And so you can place your orders anytime online. But if you want it delivered, you need to get your order delivered in time for the set on Saturday night. You need to put your order in no later than Thursday night, and you'll have it delivered to you no later than Friday afternoon.
There you go. So how many flavors do you have?
Currently, I have 5.
Okay.
Want me to tell you the flavors?
Yeah, please.
So right now, for February, I have a limited flavor, just released it called So in Love. So in Love is a chocolate flavored popcorn that I created. I handcrafted. This ain't no powder. I make a fresh batch of chocolate, plant-based chocolate every time you put this order in. So it's so delicious, so decadent. So yeah, and they're handcrafted in small batches and stuff like that. So very rich. So that's So in Love. I also released Kendall's Curry. So these names, besides So in Love, most of the names of the popcorn are named after relatives, because Mama D is my mother. She passed away 3 years ago. And so it's in the brand name is in honor of her. So most of the names have to do with her children, her descendants. So Kendall is my niece, and Kendall's Curry is Jamaican curry flavored popcorn. And then there is garlic knot. So it's really what it is. It's just a really deep, intense garlic savory flavored popcorn. Then there is Shea Butter Baby. That's me. My nickname is Shay. I was my mama's Shay Baby. So Shea Butter Baby is a savory meets sweet. So it's the quote unquote vegan bacon. It's bacon, vegan bacon, mind you, mixed with a sweet molasses type coating on the popcorn. Mm-hmm. And then I have Bald and Buttery. Bald and Buttery is my spin on cheese, making a nice savory vegan cheese flavored popcorn. And I actually named that one. Ain't got nothing to do with Mama D's descendants. I had my gun dealer, the only Black gun dealer shop that's in Burbank. Y'all check them out. It's Red Stone Firearms out of Burbank, California. That's why I got my first Glock. Brother Jonathan and his wife, they sell out of fire. They just sell out everything. They're really dope. But anyway, they were one of my biggest customers in LA. And when before I had released Bald and Buttery, I didn't have a name for it. But I took some samples over there to the shop, and he liked it a lot. Now, these are carnivores. These men shoot guns. They like steak. They don't care about being no vegan. But the flavors they were rocking with. And so Jonathan said, I know what you got to name it. You're going to name it Bald and Buttery. You're going to name it after me. Because Jonathan is a brother with a bald head. So I was so honored that he wanted me to kind of like name it after him. So I was like, absolutely. Bald and Buttery it is. So those are 5. But then there's also the signature flavor that I'm just now reintroducing. The very first flavor I ever had that sold out before I started coming up with all this other stuff was called Munchies. Munchies is my baby brother's nickname from childhood. So there was, I'm not sure if you remember back in the day, used to be a potato chip called Munchos, Munchos. It was in a like a reddish orange paper bag. And the chips were essentially just a salty, thin, but the texture of the chip was a little crunchy, but it was salty. It was like a plain. It wasn't really Lay's because of the texture was a little thicker, but it was called Munchos. Well, my brother, he was such a cute, adorable kid. Whenever he didn't want to finish his plate of food, he would literally chew it enough to hold it in his cheeks. Okay. Munches. So we didn't call him Munchos. Somehow it just stuck. He was just cute. He had little munchy little cheeks or whatever. Hence the term munchies. So it ain't got nothing to do with weed. But you like, oh, I got the munchies.
I was gonna say that, but I'm like,
no, don't touch no weed. No, it's got this tongue in cheek. This is like my baby brother's old nickname. So
they're not judging if you want to be high and you want to order munchies. Hey.
That ain't where they ain't living. That's what you want to say. Hey, you can do what you want, but over here, that's my baby brother nickname.
Okay.
Oh, but I didn't tell you what the flavor was. So the one thing I loved about living in LA was being having access to all of the Asian supermarkets as well as the Hispanic supermarkets. The seasonings. I want to try that. Let me try that. So the munchies is actually a take on Asian-inspired flavors. So there's seaweed in there and stuff. So a couple of people, they like, oh, girl, this good. This tastes like ramen. That's what people say. It's just really savory. So people loved it. I usually didn't even have to lead with, oh, it's plant-based. They didn't care. As long as it tastes good, they was rocking with it. So those are my flavors.
Is there a way to order them all? Like, you started with chocolate. You had me at chocolate with the first one. What was the name of it? I'm so in love. I'm so in love with that one. But then you mentioned all the other ones and the stories behind them. I'm like, I want to try the garlic, and then I want to try the munchies. I don't know.
We can talk offline because technically, I'm still waiting on to be approved to be able to ship it commercially across the U.S. So right now, I hate to tease your listeners, but right now I have to be in the state of Georgia to do right.
Yeah.
Talk line for you as a friend. I can send the order.
You can You can make it happen. All right.
Yeah.
So I don't want to take more of your time. You already had been an amazing guest, as always. I look forward to your poetry set, Poetic Popcorn Set, to be more precise, right? And again, all the information will be below. Is there any other last words? Anything I forgot to mention?
No, I'm very grateful to be a guest again, and that you would want to help promote my set. And so I'll just see y'all next week, God willing. I don't have nothing else to add.
Okay. Well, I do. You're always amazing. I wish I was there to taste the popcorn along with the poetry, but one day I'll make it to what is it again? What part of Georgia?
Fayetteville, but I pop back and forth to LA anyway. So listen, when I'm when I'm in the city, I'm gonna let you know.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah.
And please, I'm so in love is my flavor. I can already tell you.
I got you. And even if it's out of because technically I promote it for only February, but I'm willing to take special requests. I have had people order as a friend, and you just tell me what you want, and I send you an invoice. You just got to pay for that shipping. I have no idea what that shipping gonna be in California.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's the only thing. So yeah.
Hey, it's nice to support the people that are making it, if you know what I'm saying.
Yes.
Instead of the corporations. And I love popcorn from pork. What's the name of that one with the cone? The one that has the cone, the fancy cone.
I'm not gonna hate on them. Popcornopolis. I'm just
Yeah. I love them though. I love the zebra. So that's what I'm saying. I probably would like yours too.
Because I think I'm more intense. My favorites are more intense than theirs. That's part of the reason that it encouraged me to even go forth with my business, because I felt like there wasn't a lot of, I felt like it wasn't oversaturated by the least bit. And I remember even other people trying to approach me to taste their stuff when I would be around the city. I'd be like, oh, that's what y'all selling here? Okay. Yeah. I was just making a note of it. So, but yeah, so we'll see if you like mine.
I'm sure it will.
My popcorn reflects the fact I'm a sister. Hello. And I like to cook. Them seasons be like, oh, what she got in this?
Okay. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But guys, once again, make sure to tune in to the poetry set. And yeah, you might see me in the comments. I'll be making sure that she's got the cameras, the angles, everything's okay, because there's always that. But yeah, Instagram live.
Everybody has Instagram. 10 minutes earlier before. I be trying to work it out, but unless people are there, I have no idea. I just go live, you know. But if you went 10 minutes before, you be like, Shanara,
right? Know. Like you're not in focus. Like you're like, I'm right here. You're right here. Okay, we can't see. Sit down.
Yeah, but we got all neck.
Yeah. All right, Shanara, thank you so much.
Thank you, Victor. Thank you for having me. I'm sending you a virtual hug up in here.
Okay, me too.
All right, enjoy the rest of your evening.
You too. Give me a second, though. Give me a second.
Yes.
You didn't see this coming, guys.
And loading. A virtual creative kickback, Poetry and Popcorn returns. Hosted by the one and only Shanara The MouthPeace. Every first and third Saturday. Bringing you the best of both worlds. New flavors and new rhymes. By Mama D's Five Popcorn and Mouthpiece Entertainment.
We are go for liftoff in T-minus 30. Hit the record button.